We then see a scene from 6 months later. We see Brad in college. But after seeing him, we realize that Brad is no longer the same old Brad. He is completely changed. He is now extremely troubled. 6 months ago, Brad died in a car accident that left his father. He has been completely devastated. Even today, he blames himself for his father's death. To overcome his depression, he has started using various drugs. Seeing Brad upset, a girl named Lola Stone approaches him and asks Brad, "Will you go to the prom with me tonight?" But Brad refuses to go with her. He lovingly explains to Lola Stone that he has a girlfriend and he will go to the prom with her. Hearing this, Lola Stone is deeply offended, and as soon as Brad leaves college, he meets his girlfriend. Brad tells her, "Lola Stone came to me and asked me to go to prom with her, but I refused." Hearing this, Brad's girlfriend, Holly, is very pleased, and then the two get into the car and start romancing. Meanwhile, Lola Stone was watching them getting intimate in the car from outside, and this displeased her at all. Brad's girlfriend, Holly, then parks the car a short distance from Brad's house. And why does Holly do this? We'll find out later. After Brad gets out of the car, Holly tells him to get ready for prom that night, and she'll pick him up. Brad returns home, and as soon as he arrives, Brad's mother asks him, "How are you going to go to the prom that night?" Brad replies, "Holly will pick me up that night, and I'll go in the prom with Holly." Hearing this, Brad's mother forbids Brad from going in the prom with Holly, saying, "If you two want to go together, then you should book a taxi. The taxi driver has a driver's license and is an expert driver." Brad's mother says this because Brad's father died 6 months ago due to Brad's driving. Therefore, Brad's mother didn't want Brad to go anywhere with an inexperienced driver. Brad's mother had also imposed a restriction on him that he would never get into a car with an inept driver, and this is where we learn why Holly dropped Brad off some distance from his house. Just as Brad was upset with his life, Brad's mother was also deeply depressed after her husband's death, secretly believing that her husband was killed because of Brad's reckless driving. But she never told Brad this. But Brad understands this and leaves home with his dog. Now, fed up with his life, as he was completely broken after his father's death, Brad sits on top of a high mountain with his dog. He decides to kill himself and even attempts to throw himself off the mountain. But he can't do it because he thinks, "Who will take care of my mother after I die?" He sits on the mountainside and starts listening to music. Just then, Brad receives a call from his mother. But just as Brad is about to answer his mother's call and talk to her, a stranger comes from behind and knocks him unconscious. Meanwhile, Brad's mother hears Brad's screams on the other end of the phone and realizes he's in danger. The mother knew Brad often visited the place, but after searching and calling out for him for a long time, she couldn't find him and started walking back home. Meanwhile, Brad's girlfriend, Holly, gets ready for prom, and after getting ready, comes straight to Brad's house to pick him up. As soon as she knocks on the door, Brad's mother comes from behind and asks Holly where Brad is. Holly replies, "I don't know anything about Brad. I'm ready, I came to take Brad to the prep." Hearing this, Brad's mother becomes even more worried, and they both try to call Brad. But when they try, Brad's number is switched off. Then they both see that Brad's dog is badly injured and has been killed, severely injured. Holly quickly puts the dog in the car and starts taking it to the hospital, but the dog dies on the way. Brad's mother calls her neighbor, who happens to be a police officer, and tells the police officer that Brad has been missing since morning and hasn't returned home yet. Hearing this, the neighbor tells Brad's mother not to worry. Brad is not a child. He will be back soon. But when Brad's mother tells the police officer that someone killed Brad's dog, the police officer becomes serious. On the other side, we see the truck in which Brad is being kidnapped. When the truck driver sees a dead animal on the road, he stops the vehicle, picks up the animal, and the truck continues on. 336 seconds. Add a note. Jump to the car stops in a parking lot where we learn that Brad has been kidnapped by none other than Lola Stone and her father. This is the same girl who had asked Brad to go on a prom with her. Lola Stone is sitting in her room. Just then, her father enters the room and Lola Stone gives her a dress, which makes her very happy. Lola Stone then begins changing in front of her father. Here, Lola Stone's father looks at his own daughter with strange eyes as she changes her clothes. He picks up a hammer and nails and starts counting to 10. Brad can't seem to get up, as the toilet was just an excuse. But as soon as Lola counts to 9, Brad manages to use all his strength to defecate, saving his life. Furthermore, Brad has been trying to free his hands from the rope that was tied to the old woman's hair clip for quite some time. He manages to free his hands from the rope, and once free, he kicks Lola hard, throwing her back. Lola's father rushes to take care of his daughter, and then Brad takes advantage of the situation, runs out of the house, and quickly hides under Lola's father's car. A short while later, Lola's father, furious, goes out to look for Brad. He gets into his truck and starts it. Brad, hiding under the car, jumps out, fearing he'll be crushed. But Lola's father spots him and starts driving after him. Brad runs quickly, climbs a large tree in front of him, and Lola's father's truck crashes into it. He is unhurt, but Lola Stone arrives. The two of them then start throwing stones at Brad, who is sitting in the tree, from the ground up. One stone hits Brad directly on the head, knocking him unconscious. They pick him up and bring him back inside the house. They then tie him securely to a chair with ropes. But this time, they don't tie Brad up like before. Instead, they stab Brad's leg with a hammer and stab him with a knife, so he doesn't try to escape again. Meanwhile, Brad's neighbor, a police officer, is searching for Brad. When he reaches the mountain where Brad was kidnapped, he finds Brad's phone. He takes it and gives it directly to Brad's mother. Meanwhile, Lola shows Brad an old album of hers, which contains photos of many boys, and Lola Stone is standing with each boy in the photo, revealing that this isn't the first time Lola Stone has done this. She has kidnapped many boys before, and they've been doing this since childhood. Lola Stone's psycho father kidnaps boys for her, and then Lola Stone tortures and kills those boys, and Lola Stone has killed all the boys whose photos are in the album. This clearly shows us that even if Brad had agreed to go on the prom with Lola Stone that day, he would have suffered the same fate. Now, Lola Stone shows Brad a photo of a boy named Timmy from her album. Lola Stone tells Brad about that boy. He says that this was the first boy who ran away from here. After looking at the boy's photo carefully, he realizes that this was the same boy who had run in front of Brad's car 6 months ago, and in the process of saving him, Brad's father died. Now Brad understands that my father's death wasn't because of that boy, but because of these two psycho father-daughter friends. We also learn that the boy named Timmy was not someone else's son, but the son of Brad's neighbor, a police officer, who is currently searching for Brad at the behest of Brad's mother. Lola Stone shows Brad a photo of him on a page in an album. However, this photo was incomplete because the album was supposed to include a photo of Brad's painting. Lola Stone then begins preparing for another photo. She picks up a sharp fork and begins writing something on Brad's chest. Lola Stone's father, seeing this, cheers and applauds. Brad is in great pain. When Lola Stone completes her painting, we see that she has drawn a large heart on Brad's chest, with the initials LS inside. That means Lola Stone. Lola has been doing this to every boy for years. Now, after drawing on Brad's chest, Lola Stone's father starts sprinkling salt on it, causing Brad immense pain. Then 7 9 O's. Add a note. Jump to finally, Lola Stone pours an entire bucket of salt on Brad's wounds, causing Brad to writhe in pain and scream loudly. However, due to the bleach injection in his throat, Brad is unable to utter a word. Watching all this, the psycho father and daughter are having a great time. And then, Lola Stone's father announces the names of several girls and finally crowns Lola Stone the queen, just like at prom. Then, Lola Stone's father places a paper crown on Lola Stone's head, and Brad is put on the crown. Lola Stone's father then takes a photo of them, turns on the music, and they start dancing. However, because Brad has a knife in his leg, he can't dance properly with Lola Stone. So Lola Stone leaves Brad and goes to her father and starts dancing with him. She also tells her father, "You're my real prince." After all this, Lola Stone's father, who had picked up a dead animal from the middle of the street, cuts it up. The two then open a secret door to their house's basement. They first pour water and then throw the dead animal down into the basement. Strange, scary noises begin to emanate from within the basement. Hearing this, Brad realizes that these psycho father-daughter duo throw kidnapped boys down into the basement every year after Rome, and after realizing all this, Brad desperately wanted to escape. So, he somehow manages to pick up a nearby blade and slowly begins cutting the rope that bound his hands. After throwing the food in the basement, Lola Stone's father takes a drill machine from a box, and then he gives it to Lola Stone. Lola Stone says, "This is my first drilling." Lola Stone's father grabs Brad's head tightly, and Lola Stone turns on the drill and begins drilling a hole in Brad's forehead, the same kind of hole she made in the old woman's head. He yells loudly at Lola Stone to stop, but Lola Stone doesn't listen. And then, after a long struggle, Lola Stone drills a hole in Brad's forehead. But if all this wasn't enough, Lola Stone brings a bucket of boiling water. She's going to pour it over Brad's head. This will boil his brain, turning him completely lifeless and resembling the old woman. After which, like the rest of us, Brad will be thrown into the basement, where there are many others like him. Lola Stone then proceeds to pour the boiling water over Brad's head, but because the hole in Brad's forehead is too small, the water won't go in. So, Lola Stone tells her father that they need to drill the hole even bigger. Now, here's Lola Stone's father. By the time Brad's father moves to enlarge the hole in Brad's forehead, he frees his hands from the blade and stabs Lola Stone's father in the face, knocking him away. After that, he takes a knife from his leg and stabs Lola Stone's father with it. Slashing him repeatedly in the neck, he kills him instantly. Just then, Lola Stone attacks Brad from behind, but Brad picks her up and throws her to the ground. Then, with a powerful punch, he knocks Lola Stone unconscious. Brad then throws Lola Stone's father into the same basement, where they held the kidnapped people captive. Now Lola Stone's father isn't completely dead, he's still breathing. And then, down in the basement, the people who had been locked up hungry for years pounce on Lola Stone's father and start tearing him apart. Brad is watching this from upstairs when Lola Stone, who has regained consciousness, comes from behind. Enraged by her father's death, Lola Stone pushes Brad from behind, knocking him down into the basement. She closes the basement door behind Brad. Inside the basement, Brad finds a flashlight. As soon as he turns it on, he sees a multitude of bloodthirsty people everywhere, and as soon as they see Brad, they rush forward to eat him. During this, a prolonged fight ensues between Brad and those people. People, however, have been weakened by months of starvation, so Brad kills them all one by one. After killing them all, when he looks around, he sees a pile of bones. Lola Stone, enraged by her father's death, also kills the old woman with a hole in her forehead. Meanwhile, Brad's girlfriend, Holly, is deeply distressed by Brad's disappearance, and then remembers what Brad had said to her. Lola Stone gave me her own. He asked her to ride the prom with him, but she refused to ride with Lola Stone. Upon remembering this, she immediately calls Brad's neighbor, a police officer, and tells him everything. The officer then gets in his car and heads straight for Lola Stone's house. Shortly, the police officer arrives at Lola Stone's house. When the officer peeks inside the door, he sees a lot of blood on the floor. Seeing this, the officer realizes something is wrong. He unlocks the door and enters. As soon as the officer enters the house, Brad hears footsteps in the basement. This makes Brad realize that someone has entered the house. Brad starts making noise from the basement. The police officer hears it, and he realizes that someone is down there. There's someone in the basement. So the police officer quickly opens the basement door, and upon opening it, he sees Brad in the basement. But before the officer can rescue Brad, Lola Stone appears from behind and brutally kills him in the head. With an axe, she kills him and throws him down into the basement. Brad quickly grabs the police officer's gun and fires multiple shots at Lola Stone. However, Lola doesn't get hit, and Brad's gun runs out of bullets. Stone tells Brad, "You made a big mistake by killing my father. So, I'm going to your house and avenge my father by killing your mother and girlfriend." With this, Lola Stone sets off on foot towards Brad's house. Brad's girlfriend also gets in the car and heads for Lola Stone's house, because the police officer who left for Lola Stone's house last night hadn't returned. Brad's girlfriend was coming to Lola Stone to ask about the police officer, but she didn't know that going to Lola Stone's house could land her in trouble, because the police officer she was coming to ask about had been killed by Lola Stone herself. In the basement, Brad is at a loss for how to get out, and then an idea comes to his mind. He stacks the dead bodies on top of each other, and then, standing on top of them, emerges from the basement. Holly sees Lola Stone on the road, severely injured. Seeing this, Holly stops the car to help Lola Stone, but Holly didn't know how big a mistake she was about to make. As soon as Lola Stone got into the car, she suddenly started stabbing Holly with a knife. Holly somehow managed to escape, got out of the car, and started running. Then Lola followed her. Brad was driving a police officer's car, and his girlfriend, Holly, came running in front of him. Brad quickly swerved and saved her. Then, Lola Stone, who was following Holly, was hit by the car and was blown away. Holly quickly gets into the car and is horrified by Brad's condition. Before Brad could explain to Holly that Lola Stone was responsible for his condition, Lola Stone, still severely injured, crawled from behind and charged at Brad. Seeing this, Brad becomes extremely angry and then drives the car in reverse at high speed, crushing Lola Stone with the car, ultimately resulting in her death. At the end of the movie, we see Brad reach his mother, who is overjoyed to see him. The story ends with this. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.